Right. Now let's move straight to database questions. And then from there, we wrap up with HTML questions. Then I'll let you go, and then you watch the video again. I'll break them down. Then you'll be able to solve some of these questions and the previous videos, like the subtotal and others. You see how it's done. And also, don't forget the data validations and other things also. Right. Let's move straight to database. Also, you open the database files. I see most of you are asking questions about calculations in database. I'm going to do calculations in report, calculations in form, and then calculations in query. So I have database questions. Also, when you open it, you will see the questions there. We have the database query question. We have database table, and then we have database report questions. So I'm going to start with the table question. Then I'll look for one calculation in the table. Right. If there's no calculation, I will do calculations myself. Yeah, here is it. 5 out word is there. So there's a calculation there also. Now the question says, insert a new field called area as the last field and do the following. Good. So we go to this table is called TBL paintings. So you right click and put it in design view. Now the new field is called area. And then that to store calculation of the area of the painting. The area is calculated as height times the width. So the data type, whenever you are doing calculations, you change it to calculated. And then you start doing your questions. You will see the fields here. If it's not there, you can find it under the table. So you say the width, you double click on the width times the height, and then okay. So when we go there, it's going to calculate for us. Now, another way of doing calculation is the text function. Let's say I want to do the text function also here called code. And then I want to do calculations, calculated. Then the code will be the first 3 characters left, double click on it. So the left of the artist, comma 3, you close the bracket, just like the way you do it in spreadsheet. And you press shift and 7, len. Let's say I want the number of characters also len. Len of the rating or place. Then you click OK. Or it says it's closing, so I must go and check. Left of the artist, comma 3, you close bracket, and the length of the painting. If it shows you ESPR, you must remove it. Length into bracket, the painting, you close the bracket. So we can use text functions also. it gives us. Now, what if the question says change everything to uppercase? This expression again, you click there. To change to uppercase, we use what we call U case. U case, that uppercase, and then you close the bracket. L case is lowercase, U case is lowercase, and then so here is uppercase. Right. We can also do calculations in a table like if statement, like comment, calculated. Now, let's say we have the age. So if is double IF, if the age, which is age is greater than 60, so I will say 60 less than age. Do we have age here? Yeah, there. Now, this is how we put in database. Instead of it to say age greater than 60, we type the number first before. So you say age is greater than 60. Then comma, old, comma, otherwise new. So we have the if statement here. Old and new based on the age value that we have there. Right. We can do so many calculations. So that's how we do calculations in if it's also a date. I don't know whether there's a date here. If there was a date, we're going to also have the same thing. The date, you don't put it in inverted comma. You just type the date in the normal format. Right. Now, let's look at the calculations in query. Now, let's say this query 5 underscore 3. Now, if the question says we must display number of painting from 200, the criteria is between 200 and let's say 500. That's the criteria we normally use. You say between, if you know the start value and then the end value. Now, if we were to do calculations in queries, you go to empty space, you right click and choose build. Unlike the other part, you say build, then you can now see you are familiar with this expression builder. Then you can now do your calculations. Let's say we are increasing the number of painting by 25%. So we say 25 over 100 times number of painting. Then you click OK. So your formula will be here. If I click on run, it's going to give me EXPR1, expression 1. So we need to change this expression 1 into the new calculated field. Don't delete the column. So the new calculation field is increased. So that you can have it. Then they can also ask you to change the format. You go to the format under the properties. You change it to fixed. And then the decimal place. If they want to, then you choose 2. Right. Then they can even ask you to put a criteria here also when it is greater than 50. So you must check some of these things. Now, the same way you can do the left if statement and all of them in queries. All that you need to do is you right click, choose build, and then you can use any formula there to calculate your functions. Now, we also have aggregate function. Aggregate function. Let's say ID. This question wants us to put ID that has hashtag. Only the ID that has hashtag. The one without hashtag we shouldn't do. So the criteria there, you say star, hashtag, star. That means contains hashtag. So it will only display the one with hashtag. Let's check again. All right, that should be the ID. So when it say contains, you put that one. Maybe that hashtag was not typed. That's why it's giving us that problem. Now, I want us to do calculations under the um, what we call calculated field or the aggregate function. Now, for aggregate function, let's say we have this, and then we want to find the average of those who chose against. So maybe we don't need this one. We need only the artist name, and then we need against. We don't need a nationality. We don't need for, and then also this. Now, when you click on totals, this is for aggregate function. You click on totals. Then you see this group by. Now the question says average against value for each name. So you choose average, AVG. So it's going to find average for each. Sometimes watch out for this. There are other functions like first off, last off. You must look at that for that. Now when you run, you see here first off. They can give you a screenshot like this. Watch out for that. First off, AVG off, count off, last off. That means they use a calculated field, aggregate function. Now we move straight to form calculations. You open form in design view. Remember form, we can have form design with action button. Let's say action button to close a form, so that the button will be there. Watch out for that type of question, whether header or footer. And then they can also put validation rule. Let's say insurance value. When you right click and choose properties, then you go to data, you will see validation rule, you will see input mask. Let's say that you also see default value. Let's say the validation will be between 500 and 3,000. And validation text also. You can put them there. Right. They can also give you conditional formatting. When you select conditional formatting, you can get it under format. If you don't know where to find it, you can just go to tell me what to do and type conditional formatting. You will see it. Then you can choose new rule and then you apply your rule. Let's say field value is equals to maybe 100, and it should fill with a color. So only the one, so when you click close form, it's going to close for you. Right. Now let's do calculations in a form. It can be done in any way, whether the footer, here or on top. Now, if we are to put a calculation here, we choose this one, which is the text box, and you draw the text box. Let's say we want to calculate 15% VAT of the insurance value. You right click, and then you will see build event. Then you double click on expression builder. Then you will now see your expression builder, which is familiar to you in table and then query. 15 over 100 times insurance value. Now, one complication about this one is that you need to select and copy. Unlike the query and then the table, here you must copy by using Control C. And then you click OK. You come here and then say equals to, then you Control V. Then you can now have these calculations here. So that's how we do calculations in a form. You see it here. Now, finally, we move straight to report. Regarding the report, calculations, grouping. Now, when they say grouping, you tell me what to do, then you go to group and sort. If it is not there. Then watch out for this. When it's group, you must watch out for this. You go to more. We have grouping by, because this one is the year born, say by year or by month, that's the date. We can have also with no totals. That is the one we use to do calculations with no totals. Let's say we want to calculate the average against value. Then the type of the function is average. Then you take show subtotal in footer. If the question says for each, now you see the calculation here. Sometimes they can tell you to also be for all of them. You can just copy this and then you come and put it also in the group footer. No, the report footer, you paste. So there are two calculations here. Average for all, and this is average for only the grouping. The same way, they can tell you other functions like if statement and others, then you need to use this text box, just like the way we did. You right click, build event, expression builder, and then you do your calculation. So basically the report calculation and the form is similar here. The only difference is that if they are asking for the function like average, count, sum, and others, then you must use the group and then you can now insert it. So I think that is all about the database. That's all about database. Now, any other question? Somebody is saying null and then it's not null. Null and then it's not null. Null means it's empty. Not null means it is not empty. Right. As for the last part, the null means it's empty for query. Not null means it's not empty. So you just put null. Null means empty space. Not null means it's not empty. Right. So that is all about database. Now let's move straight to, we are wrapping up with HTML. HTML, you can watch the other videos, like I said here. HTML, because of the time factor, we might not have enough time, but I'll share the video with you. All that you need to know: HTML 15 marks, background color, BG color, horizontal line, images, then hyperlink, multi-level list, table call span, and row span. I discussed it in our last video, so you can also watch it. And basic text for HTML. Because of the time factor, I want you to have more time to watch the video and practice. So HTML, we might not be able to. Not null means not empty. Null means what? Empty. So how do you insert picture in database? To insert picture, where are you referring to? If you are to insert picture in database, if you are to insert picture in database form, now background picture, you just go to format, background picture. Now, if you are to insert only picture on top here, you go to form design, insert image, then you insert the image, then you draw it. Then the image, you must make sure that it is stretched to fill in. They can ask you questions to change the width and then the height of the image also, and then the border around the image. Right, now to insert a picture in a table, that one should be, let's say, picture. The picture. Let's say we change this one of them to, let's say, picture. And then you might change the picture. Yeah, here, photo is here. OLE object. Now, when you go to that photo and you are to insert that picture, you right click and say insert object. Then you go to create new or create from file. And then you choose browse. Then you go and select your picture that you want. And then okay. So it will be saying package. You only see this picture when you open it in a form. So that is how we insert picture also in database table.